McGraw-Hill Ascent Audio presents The Starbucks Experience, 5 Principles for Turning Ordinary into Extraordinary, by Joseph A. Michelli, narrated by Jonathan Yen. Forward. We are litter picker-uppers. We are green apron-clad seekers of the book that you might have left on one of the tables in our coffee house. We are the folks who smile across the counter at you every morning as you ask for your double-tall, non-fat mocha with a little vanilla at the bottom, my regular drink. We're Starbucks partners, commonly known to the world as employees. I often start stories about our company and culture with the description of us as the litter picker-upper type of people. We just naturally stoop down to pick up that gum wrapper or soda can on the sidewalk as we're talking with you about how the kids are doing and what crazy weather we're having. It's not a magic formula for hiring or business success. It's just who we are. Well, maybe it is magic, because there is something a little magical about founding a business that aspires to enrich the human spirit. That's actually part of the Starbucks core purpose. And we live every day by our mission statement and guiding principles, which include embracing diversity and creating a great work environment. Sure, one of our principles is to recognize that profitability is essential to our future success, but it's not the first item on the list. It's the last one. And when you live and work according to those kinds of principles, good things seem to come your way. One of the ways in which we express the nature of what it means to be a Starbucks partner is through the Green Apron book. It's a pocket-sized book that puts into words some of the core ways of being that you need in order to be successful at Starbucks. They are: be welcoming, be genuine, be knowledgeable, be considerate, and be involved. They are simple words, and they distill everything you need to know about Starbucks and the people who work here. We each get to be part of a group that gets to make a huge difference in people's lives in a million small ways. Just little moments, like smiling as we hand you a drink, handcrafting your beverage just the way you like it, and providing a comfy chair and a place to get away from it all without going very far. In my role, I get to travel to hundreds of stores every year to help smooth the road for our store managers and other store partners to provide those experiences for you. I'm all about taking away obstacles and providing tools so that our partners can do what they do best: take care of one another, our customers, and the community. I'm a lucky guy. And I am also a storyteller. I like to meet and collect stories from our partners and customers, and I find that they are the best way to share the message of our current and future success. I thought I had a pretty good collection of stories about Starbucks partners. Check out the Pay It Forward story on pages 97 and 98, but Dr. Michelli uncovered far more than I thought possible. His connection with partners and customers has resulted in a wonderful collection of stories that do more than just help you understand Starbucks. They help you understand the roots of our success and our hopes for the future. I congratulate Dr. Michelli on hitting on just the right combination of conventional business acumen and storytelling. And the stories you'll find here reveal something that is extremely simple, but awe-inspiringly powerful: that people want to do the right thing. They want to create and offer quality things. They want to do good in the world, and if you give them the opportunity and the resources to do so, they will shine. Here's to all the stories that are yet to be told. Jim Alling, President, Starbucks U.S. Business. Introduction. Taking you and your business to the extraordinary. From its humble origins to a name that is synonymous with coffee, Starbucks is one of the great growth companies of our time. While parts of Starbucks' early history have been told in various publications, far too little has been written on precisely how Starbucks revolutionized the coffee industry, and in so doing, rewrote many of the conventional rules of management. The Starbucks experience examines the inner workings of a company that has taken an ordinary, even mundane product and transformed it into extraordinary business success. This inside look at Starbucks has led to the identification of 5 key principles that are the foundation of Starbucks greatness. They are presented in the chapters that follow, precepts that can truly enhance and expand your business. When applied consistently and with passion, these concepts enable people and companies to seize on the types of opportunities that catapulted Starbucks to its international prominence. But before we get to the how of Starbucks, let's consider what Starbucks really has accomplished. From Seattle to Portland and beyond. In 1971, the Starbucks Coffee, Tea, and Spice Store started business in Seattle, Washington. Before that first Starbucks opened its doors, people stopped by the corner coffee shop for a 50-cent cup that came with the promise of free refills. For some of us, the morning was not complete without a visit to the convenience store, where we poured our own black, murky brew into a white foam cup. To kill the taste, we doused the mixture with gobs of powdered cream and sugar and stirred it with a thin red plastic stick, which was supposed to double as a straw. We would hand our change to an apathetic cashier who performed the job just well enough to earn the minimum wage. It was an unvarying and uninspired customer ritual and transaction. Despite the monotonous nature and poor quality of this transaction, most of us didn't know that there was any other way to enjoy coffee. While we were slogging through our days with freeze-dried, burnt, or lackluster home brew, Howard Schultz, Starbucks' former CEO and current chairman, asked an intriguing question. What would happen if you took the quality coffee bean tradition of Starbucks and merged it with the charm and romance of the European coffee house? His answer? Starbucks could transform the traditional American coffee experience from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Of course, it is not clear that even Howard Schultz recognized the huge potential of his vision. Howard disclosed at a Starbucks shareholders meeting that up to 1980, our big dream was to open a store in Portland, Oregon. With over 11,000 stores worldwide, the company has certainly come a long way from its original goal. By all accounts, Howard's concept was an ambitious idea. How do you change people's view of coffee? After all, coffee has been with us for centuries, and there seemed to be little impetus for a major shift in customers' preferences. How do you inspire a coffee drinker to give up her regular routine while also getting her to pay 6 or 8 times more for rich, exotic coffee blends when ordinary is all she's ever known? Besides, who would make time for a European-style coffeehouse experience when one could grab a cup while buying milk, gasoline, and a newspaper? Early critics of Schultz's vision maintained that he had happened upon a short-lived gimmick that would quickly fizzle. Others could not grasp what all the fuss was about. As Cora Daniels noted in a Fortune magazine article, the Starbucks story epitomizes, imagine that, in every sense. When the company went public, it had just 165 stores clustered around Seattle and in neighboring states. Skeptics ridiculed the idea of $3 coffee as a West Coast yuppie fad. How could Howard Schultz's wild yuppie fad really work? Clearly, he must have been on the right track, for much of the world has embraced his concept of serving gourmet coffee in a relaxed and comfortable environment. In fact, today, Starbucks has stores in over 37 countries, averages more than 35 million customer visits each week, and has loyal patrons who typically return 18 times a month. Contrary to the bearish predictions of so-called industry analysts, Starbucks has done fairly well for itself. What is the true scale of Starbucks' success? If you had invested $10,000 in the Starbucks IPO on the NASDAQ in 1992, your investment would be worth approximately $650,000 today. Starbucks has grown substantially faster than the average S&P stock. To get a sense of its profitability, one need only appreciate that since 1992 the value of the S&P rose 200%, the Dow 230%, the NASDAQ 280%, but Starbucks 5,000%. Throughout this period, Starbucks maintained its quality while continuing its aggressive expansion. Today, Starbucks opens 5 new stores a day, 365 days a year. Starbucks is more than just a Wall Street Cinderella story. Its culture, brand, and product excellence continue to win glowing accolades. It has been consistently recognized by Fortune as one of America's most admired companies and best employers. Businessweek acknowledges Starbucks as one of the best worldwide brands. Business Ethics places it on its list of most socially responsible companies each year. From its original single store, the Starbucks brand has emerged as an unparalleled name that is virtually interchangeable with the word coffee. Starbucks has introduced terms like barista, chai, venti, and frappuccino blended beverage into our everyday vocabulary. However, the most significant sign that Starbucks has changed not only coffee, but our lives, is how the stores have affected our neighborhoods and communities. Given the sheer number of retail outlets, it is likely that there is a store within 5 miles of your home or office, and even more likely that you refer to that store as my Starbucks. As one loyal customer, Tiffany Tolman, puts it, I actually know where all the Starbucks are in my town, and I literally give directions to my friends using Starbucks as my landmark. Not only has Starbucks changed business, but it has also changed American culture and affected culture worldwide. Why this book? Clearly, Starbucks has grown from humble beginnings and is a grande success story based on Howard Schultz's original vision. But doesn't that describe the vast majority of successful businesses? A vision and a plan executed to perfection are what characterize great businesses. However, we are not talking about most businesses. Starbucks is one of the truly exceptional American success stories, a company that so dominates its market that there isn't even a close second. What fuels its incredible growth engine? Like many in the business community, I've long been mesmerized by Starbucks. Time and again, I have found myself asking, how does the company do that? What do its managers know that managers in other industries could learn? How can Starbucks have 2 successful stores literally across the street from each other? In contrast to McDonald's, another great American success story, Starbucks is not a franchise business. So how can it continue to open so many stores from Seattle to Singapore and not cannibalize its own sales? How does Starbucks continue to grow and innovate while maintaining the consistency and warmth of its first store in Seattle's Pike Place market? And most important, what are the lessons to be gleaned from Starbucks that can be applied to other businesses and industries? What are the key success principles that will help any manager take his or her business to the next level? I decided to approach Starbucks senior management personnel to secure their cooperation on a book project, and was surprised when the managers agreed to let me look closely into their organization. While at first I was amazed by the grace, openness, and free rein they gave me, I later came to learn how much their willingness to grant me access was at the core of their success model. As Jim Alling, president of Starbucks U.S. Business, notes in the foreword to this book, the accomplishments of Starbucks leadership are not the result of magic. Instead, they are driven by a powerful passion for product, people, experience, and community. Every day, this passion comes to life in nearly every corner of the world, in an amazing mix of principled behavior that those in the company refer to as the Starbucks experience. The Starbucks experience can be found on two very distinct levels in the company. One, in its unique corporate culture. Leaders within the business create a unique culture for employees in which empowerment, entrepreneurship, quality, and service define the values of the firm. Two, in its passing down of these values to its partners. The partners, in turn, help create a unique and personal experience for customers. Understanding these principles and getting to know how Starbucks leadership and partners, the term Starbucks uses for all its employees, have grown the company, offers a powerful blueprint for transforming your ordinary into your extraordinary. Share the wealth. Start with the experience you create for your people. Starbucks has achieved its award-winning corporate culture in large part through the moves and decisions made by Howard Schultz and his leadership team. For any organization, it's difficult, albeit not impossible, to soar with the eagles if you are led by a flock of turkeys. And at Starbucks, the leadership has focused on creating a culture in which employees can soar. In an article for Workforce Management, writer Samuel Greengard pointed out, Starbucks Corporation went public in June 1992. On the first day of trading, the stock closed at $21.50, up from an opening price of $17. Not only did the CEO's net worth zoom, the coffee retailer had finally reached the big leagues. But instead of hoarding his beans, Schultz decided that he would give some of them back to employees in the form of stock options. While other firms offered options only to key senior executives, Schultz made them available to everyone working 20 hours a week or more, including those standing behind the counter at a local Starbucks store. So, why did Howard Schultz and Starbucks leadership take this unconventional approach? According to Jeff Kirbyson in a Brand Channel article, Howard noted, "The way we have built our company, by including the success of the company with everyone in it and not leaving our people behind, is a great example of building a business the right way." From Starbucks' perspective, that right way to conduct business means truly turning employees into partners, shareholders, with a stake in the outcome of the company. Starbucks leadership offers a refreshing philosophy in a time when many CEOs pocket millions while leaving their employees' pension funds insolvent. Starbucks executives continue to respectfully and willingly share profits with their people. Through this sharing, partners appreciate the direct link between their effort and the success of the business enterprise. The importance of this shared gain is reflected in conversations with individuals like Omolo Gaya, a Starbucks partner who immigrated to the United States from Kenya. While standing in a coffee tasting room at the Starbucks Support Center in Seattle, Omolo shared, "I cashed in my Starbucks stock options after 6 years and took the $25,000 profit to build a new 4-bedroom house for my mother, who is a widow. This is my company. I am an owner, and I am responsible for creating greatness here, just as my treatment has been great." Starbucks' profitability has been good for Omolo, and reciprocally, Omolo's passion and sense of responsibility benefit the business. Many managers and business leaders don't talk to their employees about the importance of profit. It is as if profitability were a dirty word or a concern that is outside the interests of workers. By contrast, Starbucks leadership has done an exceptional job of both linking a partner's financial gain to Starbucks' profit and helping partners understand that profit is the lifeblood of business. Even the Starbucks mission statement acknowledges that partners need to commit to profitability, which is essential to our future success. Profits increase not only the breadth of Starbucks' market, but also the scope of its positive social influence and its capacity to provide quality benefits for partners. These benefits include health insurance for 20 hours per week employees, something that Starbucks partners received long before such a thing was even considered, let alone adopted, by other corporations. But the treatment that partners receive at Starbucks goes well beyond stock options and health insurance. For example, partners are given extensive training in product knowledge, guiding principles for success, personal empowerment, and the importance of creating warm customer experiences. In stunning contrast to most Fortune 500 companies, Starbucks consistently spends more on training than it does on advertising. That training pays huge dividends for Starbucks in retaining employees, maintaining connections with current customers, and bringing new customers into its stores. Starbucks staff retention is unprecedented in the quick service restaurant sector. The employee turnover rate at Starbucks, according to some reports, is 120% less than the industry average. Marianne Hammer states in Workforce Management, Starbucks employees have an 82% job satisfaction rate, according to a Hewitt Associates Starbucks Partner View survey. This compares to a 50% satisfaction rate for all employers and 74% for Hewitt's Best Place to Work employers. While not every leadership team can reward employees with stock options or health care benefits for part-time employees, every business leader can treat those individuals with enough daily care and concern to inspire passion and creativity in their work. In its mission statement, Starbucks leadership has committed to provide a great work environment and treat each other with respect and dignity. As with all aspects of its mission, Starbucks management has established internal checks to make sure that leaders are actually living the company's espoused values. This process encourages all partners to bring their concerns to a mission review committee when they feel that policies, procedures, or leadership behaviors are straying from Starbucks commitments. One such concern involved the lack of paid leave for adoptive parents. Within 3 weeks of this issue making its way to the Mission Review Committee, Starbucks leadership provided this parent group a 2-week benefit. If leaders expect staff to meet and exceed the expectations of their customers, those same leaders must respond to concerns and exceed expectations on behalf of their staff. As Starbucks International President Martin Coles suggests, there needs to be cultural alignment between the partners and Starbucks itself. I think it's important within the company that, as leaders, we're the first ones who have to live the principles and the values of the company, because it's impossible to ask our people to behave the same way if we're not willing to go down that track ourselves. The mission statement, the principles, and the behaviors laid out as ways of being are not programmatic. They are just the way you live your life. That is very difficult to fake. Ultimately, the organization will self-select, in a way, toward a group of partners who are like-minded. Martin goes on to indicate that creating this like-minded vision of a positive, team-oriented workforce does not occur by accident. We've spent a lot of time with our partners, both in the selection process and in helping them understand what we stand for as individuals, and what the company stands for as a whole, and the differences we intend to make. It is by design, not default, that Starbucks leadership creates a powerful experience for its partners. It is expected that partners will pass on the dignity and respect that they are afforded into interactions with their customers. Starbucks partner Joy Wilson suggests that this approach is working. One of the reasons that Starbucks employees are often so pleasant and helpful is that Starbucks is a great company to work for. It takes care of its employees and treats us with respect. That mindset trickles down from the executives to the thousands of baristas worldwide. I have worked in horrible places, and it's hard to do a good job when you hate the company. We're encouraged to have a good time while we're at work, and that makes a huge difference in the atmosphere we create for the customers. Paul Williams of Idea Sandbox, a former Starbucks partner and currently a consultant who works with Starbucks, puts it this way: Starbucks is a human company. That's the difference there. The mission statement and the intentions, they're not just on paper. They truly are meant to be the way things get done. The biggest story at Starbucks is that it's as much about people as it is about coffee. The respect that leadership offers the employees is also often reflected in the way in which employees respect and create an experience for one another. John Moore, the founder of Brand Autopsy Marketing Practice and a former partner with Starbucks, notes, "What I truly found special about the store experience was that it was basically a family. What leadership offered to us, we offered to one another." Leaders who treat their staff with respect encourage their employees to do the same for their coworkers. Creating the Starbucks experience for customers. Starbucks management takes pride in the company being the leading retailer, roaster, and brand of specialty coffee in the world, but also recognizes that people flock to the company's stores for the total Starbucks experience. In essence, people come into a comfortable setting where they are valued on a personal level and where a meaningful connection is made. Everything the company does is intended to give the customer a positive, perhaps uplifting, experience while purchasing a quality beverage or food item. To achieve this, the ambiance of the store must be inviting. The store must be a place where a person will feel comfortable hanging out alone or with friends. This setting, often referred to by Starbucks partners as the third place, must capture a unique warmth that sets it apart from the first two places in most people's lives, work and home. Customers must be able to customize their beverage order with the handcrafted assistance of their barista, the Italian word for bartender and the term used at Starbucks for a coffee preparer. Customization means satisfying each customer's unique expectations and often involves special temperatures, soy milk, and various pumps of flavor. It is not uncommon to hear customized orders for drinks as complicated as quad, 2-pump vanilla, 1 1/4 pumps sugar-free hazelnut, ristretto latte with 1/4 soy, 1/2
Sample complete. Ready to continue?